The story takes place in North Africa, specifically in the Sahara Desert. A scientific expedition team has been hit by a sandstorm after months of work. Since it has lost contact with the outside world, an investigation team sends a man named Jack to find out what happened. Jack drives across the Sahara Desert and eventually arrives at the drilling area. He gets out of the car and looks around, but finds no one. Jack wanders around the lab, hoping to find some clues. On the floor you can see clothes and boots, but no sign of any people alive. He enters one of the rooms and notices that a lot of equipment has been abandoned and unused for a long time. He then opens the large freezer in the kitchen, but doesn't spot a frozen human body lying on the floor. Suddenly he hears noises in the hallway and goes to check with his gun. He finds a chair blocking a door, and when he pulls it away, the door opens to reveal the sandstorm. He immediately closes the door and continues to wander around the laboratory. Soon after, he finds a door and forcibly opens it. As soon as he enters, he is about to be crushed by a closet, and then he is startled by a dead animal. The walls of the room are covered with drawings made in blood, and looking at the dog he realizes that it was the victim of a satanic sacrifice. Jack reports to the station what he has found and says there are other buildings to check. That evening, Jack rests in a room and studies some material. Suddenly the lights go out, and Jack goes to check the power generator. He turns the generator back on, and then goes back inside. Jack continues to study the material, and it turns out that it all revolves around geocentric exploration. Their goal was to explore the subsurface to discover new thermophilic organisms. In a video we see the scientists celebrating the new discoveries about which we still know nothing. After eating, Jack goes to sleep in his car, and when he is about to fall asleep, he sees dozens of hands covering the windows. He is startled, but realizes that it is only a hallucination. Upset, he grabs a blanket and goes to sleep in a room in the building. The next day, Jack goes outside and notices that the desert has calmed down. Jack scans the area with his car and finds a small building with only one room inside. He discovers fresh coffee that was brewed just moments ago. He gets back into the car and radios headquarters, but just then someone suddenly appears from a distance. Jack looks through his binoculars and sees a woman running from a distance. Jack looks at her with a suspicious look as she goes to take a shower. Jack follows her inside and asks for her identity. The woman reveals that she is a doctor named Jenny Christensen, and that the leader of the scientific expedition is dead. Jenny wants to go away from this place as soon as possible. But first, Jack must update the headquarters. Jack calls for reinforcements and reports that something strange has happened at this place. His superior tells him that he needs to find out more about Jenny and the scientific research, while they wait for reinforcements and food supplies. Jack goes to the freezer to check on the dead body of the chief doctor. Jack discovers that Jenny lied to him about the man's cause of death and becomes even more suspicious. Jenny insists that they must leave, but Jack doesn't listen to her and goes to lunch. The two begin to get to know each other more, and Jack reveals that he has been a widower for years. Now Jack notices the drilling area and asks Jenny to talk to him about it. The drilling project carried out by the expedition team has reached a depth of 14 kilometers. Jenny says that sometimes a strange noise can be heard, as if demons are screaming. Jack is increasingly curious and throws a ball of paper inside, but Jenny tells him it will take 5 minutes for it to reach the end of the pit. Jack accidentally throws the flashlight and bloodstains can be seen on the walls of the well. Jack remains silent for a moment, then begins to feel dizzy. Jack realizes that Jenny was not in the celebration video, or even in the photos. Then he is hit in the head by something and falls to the ground. Jenny helps Jack and takes him to the base hospital. She locks him in and goes to her car to run away, but she can't find the key in the process. Jack notices drops of blood falling on him. Soon a shower of blood erupts inside the room, and Jack tries to get out, but the door is locked. Jenny arrives and opens the door, revealing that this was all in Jack's mind. Jack rests for a few hours and then reports back to headquarters. The staff investigated the members of the previous expedition and found that there was not a single female on the scientific expedition. Jack goes looking for Jenny, but initially he doesn't find her anywhere. At one point he sees a tractor in the distance and approaches it. Jenny appears from behind, and Jack tells her what the station revealed to him, which is that her name was not registered. Jenny says that women were not allowed to join the expedition team, but since she knew the expedition leader, he allowed her to join and film them. Jack thinks Jenny's answer is not convincing and that she is hiding something, so he asks her to talk to him about the research. Then Jenny shows him a recorded video where she also appears in a lab suit. Next, Jenny plays him a recording recorded at some depth in the well, Apparently it sounds like the wind is causing the noise, but as soon as they change frequencies, they hear people screaming. Then Jenny reveals that as time goes on, more and more strange things begin to occur as scientists were hearing bizarre noises and having supernatural visions. Some team members claim to see their dead loved ones, and so on. In the next scene, we see Jack's co-workers who received the photos taken by him. One of them reveals the writings are phrases used to invoke a demon, specifically one that kills men. That evening, Jack and Jenny get closer than usual. They talk about their lives and their worldview. They go to the kitchen for some food and drinks. Jenny tells Jack to get a bottle of wine hidden in the bookcase. Jack finds the bottle along with a key hidden in a book. He then turns on the computer and listens again to the recording found earlier in the day. He hears the screams of pain from living people who keep calling for help. He hears something in the hallway, and when he goes to check, he finds an unknown woman in a blue dress, who then changes her appearance and becomes Jenny. Jack ignores this fact, and they go to have dinner together. Jenny has baked a small birthday cake for him. As she noticed the date of birth on his ID, Jack gets upset because this day reminds him of something terrifying. Jack tells Jenny that on his 32nd birthday, his wife killed their 2 children for a strange reason. He feels guilty because he went to work that morning instead of staying home. Jenny hugs him and tries to comfort Jack. Then they start kissing and undressing each other. Suddenly Jack sees his ex-wife's face outside the window. He pushes Jenny away and goes to sleep in another room. He tries to fall asleep, but then the ghost of his wife enters the room, which again changes its appearance to Jenny. The woman kisses him and keeps calling him Tom. As it turns out, Thomas's real name, but Jack is just a nickname he uses. The two sleep together, and then Jack has a nightmare in which his house and lab merge. We see his wife walking with a gun and shooting someone, most likely their kids. After that, Jack appears in the hallway and she says she caught him cheating, ending up doing the unthinkable. Jack wakes up with no clothing in the hallway and then goes to get dressed. He goes to find Jenny and enters a bathroom where he finds a terrifying rotting body trying to reach him. Frightened, he runs into the hallway and then sees Jenny approaching him. She hugs him and tells him that it's all in his head and that he should try to relax. Jack continues to have visions in which he sees his wife. Apparently she found out he was cheating on her and freaked out. In the visions, he continues to see Jenny. In particular, he sees how she carries his son's body dressed as a doctor. The next morning, Jenny goes out for a morning run in the desert. In the process, he checks a video recording in which Jenny appears and sees her hat. Confused and frightened, he goes to his car and tries to contact the station. He urgently calls for backup and unloads his gun. He immediately goes back inside to look for the car key, but suddenly he hears someone calling him. He pulls out his gun and goes outside to check the tractor near the base. When he gets there, he finds a pit full of insects that then turn into birds that fly away. Jack falls into the pit and sees human skulls around him. He runs away to take a shower, and in the process, Jenny arrives and wants to join him. He pushes her and starts hitting her with an iron rod. Jack is freaking out. By now, he cannot distinguish reality from hallucinations. He apologizes to Jenny and goes to get some medicine to treat her, but when he returns, she is already gone. Jack goes looking and enters the laundry room. Soon after, Jenny appears and starts attacking him. Jack escapes into a room and closes the metal door. When he tries to peek out, he sees a frightening face in Jenny's red eyes. Jack remembers the key found in the book and opens a safe where he finds a gun and a video camera. Jack discovers that the video had been recorded by the expedition leader. The man states that Jenny is a demon who is not to be trusted. She can transform into various forms that can confuse men, and she uses their weaknesses to manipulate them. In the process, the station contacts Jack, but Jenny runs to the car to respond. Jack shoots her through the window, and Jenny reports to Central that he has gone mad. A few hours later, Jack wakes up and feels sick. He goes into the bathroom to wash his face and sees his terrifying face in the mirror. The ghost taunts him, after which dozens of reflections appear behind Jack. One by one, they shoot themselves until Jack shoots the mirror in front of him and stops the hallucination. Later, Jack is still in the room and hears his family talking. Jack leaves the room. As he continues to hear voices later, he follows the voice to the kitchen and sees Jenny cooking. At that point, Jenny reveals that she is a demon and that she tested him by showing him his past. Jenny wanted to test how long he would last before taking his own life, and apparently he passed the test. Jack takes 2 sticks to form a cross, but she laughs. Then Jack takes a gun and threatens to shoot her, but the weapon turns into a kitchen lighter. Jenny convinces him to sell his soul in Reality: the woman is only indulging his delusions with a ruse to get the keys to the car so she can drive him to get help. Jack finds himself reliving his birthday. He stops to blow out the candles on the cake, but they remain untouched. Jenny is about to leave, but then realizes that she cannot leave him alone as he might take his own life. She goes back and calls him outside, but his wife's hallucination stops him gradually. Jack comes to his senses and realizes that his wife is nothing more than the carcass of a cow. When Jack gets into the car, he notices his wife, who is actually Jenny, attempting to save him. Jack injures her with a screwdriver and then takes gasoline to set the structure on fire. Just then a rescue team arrives and subdues Jack before transporting them both to the hospital by helicopter. Jack's superiors, Coswell and Inspector Khalid, confirmed Jenny's story in her presence on the expedition, explaining the hallucinations as caused by the toxic gas released from the underground cavity by the drill. Inhaling the gas caused the sufferers to lose the ability to distinguish between reality, memory, and imagination, causing irrational behavior in the scientists and in Jack. Jenny, however, was less affected because her quarters were separated from the main complex. The other scientists are still missing and presumed dead, having dispersed into the desert. Despite these revelations, Jack's paranoia about Jenny being the devil quickly resurfaces. Jack visits Jenny, steals a gun from a colleague, and tries to kill her. Jack shoots, and at that moment his colleague pushes him. Fortunately, Jenny is still alive because Jack hid the bag of blood. Jack's sanity is really shattered. He had asked the devil for his family in exchange for his soul. In the end, he succumbs to despair, and the film ends with Jack taking his life, saying he will give his wife what she wants. Make sure to subscribe and turn on